Good morning, students. Chapter 7 Decimals. Comparing decimals. How do you compare decimals? Today we are going to learn how to compare two decimals. Let's say I'm told to compare using these three symbols and I'm giving the numbers 415.3 at 415.271. Well, the first thing I need to do is make sure that I line up these numbers, and I'm going to have to be careful because 415.3 only has 4 digits, but 415.271 has 6 digits. Well, what I could do to make sure I line these numbers up properly is make sure the decimal points are lined up. I will write 415.3 nice and big and then put the decimal point from the other number right below. Then I could write in the rest 415.271, making sure that each number is directly lined up with a number above it. Great. Now that numbers are lined up, I can start comparing. I am going to start by comparing these four because these are in the largest place value. We will always compare the largest place value first. But when we look here, 4 and 4 are the same. That's not helpful for deciding which number is bigger. Let's cross those out and move over the next place value. When we look here, 1 and 1 are also the same. We will cross those out too. And move over again, 5 and 5 are the same. So we will cross them out and move over to the 3. Add the 2 and 3, and 2 or 3 are different. Finally, I can stop here. 3 is bigger than 2. So this number 415.3 must be the bigger number. So 415.3 is larger. But now I have to write that using these symbols. Well, the trick I always used to remember is that on the symbol there is a big open side and a small pointing side. The big open side faces the bigger number and the small pointing side faces the smaller number. No matter how I flip the symbol, the small pointy side faces the small number and the big open side is facing the bigger number. So because 415.3 is bigger than, we will have the open big side facing it. We can write it like this. Now let's practice comparing decimals together. Let's compare using these three symbols the number 21.357 and 21.375. Well, I need to begin by lining up these two numbers. What should we do to make sure we line these numbers up correctly? We can always be sure these numbers are lined up. If we line up the decimal point, we can write 21.357 and then put this decimal point in 21.375 under it, making sure the decimals are in the top of each other. Now 2 digits should I compare first. We will always begin by comparing the largest place value first, which there is the 2 and the 2. Now 2 and 2 are the same, so what should I do? Well, when the digits are the same, we can't decide anything. We cross them out and move to the next place value. 1 and 1 also the same, so we will cross those out too. 3 and 3 are also the same. We will cross them out and move over, and then we get the 5 and the 7. Finally, they are different. Based on the 5 and the 7, which number is larger? Well, 7 is larger, so this number 21.375 must be the bigger number. How can I write this comparison using symbols? Remember in your comparison that the big open side faces the bigger number and the small pointy side faces the smaller number. So I can write like this. Let's do one more together. We will compare using these symbols the numbers 892.10 and 892.02. When I line up the numbers, I need to make sure I line up the decimal point. Now compare the numbers that which number is bigger. We will start by comparing the 8s because they are in the largest place value, but 8 and 8 are the same, so I cross them out and move over. 9 and 9 are also the same, cross them out and move over. 2 and 2 are the same, cross them out, move over. 1 and 0, so this number 892.10 must be larger. How should I write? By comparison? Well, the big open side of the comparison symbol is the bigger number and the small pointy side faces the smaller number. So I can write it like this. Now it's time for you to practice on your own compare using these three symbols. The numbers 32.867 and 32.687. Well, if you line up the numbers, you can see the 3 and 3 are the same. The 2 and 2 are the same, but the 8 and the 6 are different. 8 is larger, so 32.867 is the bigger number. To write this, I will have the big open side of my symbol facing the bigger number. Now, here is one more problem to practice with compare using these three symbols. The numbers 10.421 and 14.021. Well, if you line up these numbers, you can see that 1 and 1 are the same, but the 0 and 4 are different. The 4 is bigger, so 14.021 is larger. To show this comparison, I can write like this. So from today, remember when you compare decimals, line up numbers starting with the decimal point. Compare started with the largest place value and write your comparison symbol in the correct direction.